video is sponsored by anxiety. Okay, I don't know where to start with this video. I'm just going to start. This video is going to be a very rambly one, so just warning you, it probably is going to be quite long, and I'm just going to be drinking my coffee throughout, which is probably going to add to the anxiety, but it's fine. I don't want to film this video and it be one of these serious, like, self-indulgent sort of chats about me and all of my troubles, and I've wanted to film this video for ages, but I always feel like it's like I don't have a right to, because my job is, you know, being a YouTuber is such like a privileged job in most ways, but I do feel like it's not in others, which I'll get into obviously. I've wanted to film a video just talking about like me and my relationship with YouTube, and like with YouTube and mental health for ages, because I feel like I've been like struggling with the two of them for so long, and I think so long that to me it's sort of just become normal and just like it is what it is. I still feel like it's worth me filming this video, one, to just be honest with all of you guys and with my audience and like really loyal followers of mine, two, just to put a bit more information out there for people who maybe see doing YouTube as like a really perfect job and maybe no consequences coming from it, or I'm not speaking for everyone, it's just my experience. Also as an explanation to why, you know, I've become a bit more irregular with YouTube. I've been putting out a lot of the same sort of content on YouTube. Also, it's always just good to talk openly about mental health, and I've been doing this for so long now, and I've just really, the constant like judgment and criticism and unsolicited advice and like comment after comment, you know, on people like assuming things, it's just been like whittling away at me, and it sort of just got to a point where it just made doing YouTube unenjoyable for me, to be honest. So that's why I haven't done as many videos like this and as many vlogs and things like that. So I've mentioned a few times recently how, you know, I haven't been in a great place and mentally. And on my Instagram the other week, I let you guys know that I was just taking a bit of a break. I just needed a bit of time away from social media and everything. I had been getting like lower and lower in a depressive state for maybe about a year. And a few weeks ago, it reached its lowest point that it's ever got for me. Yeah. God. So yeah, I feel like that's what's pushed me to just finally want to make this video, because I constantly feel like the thing is, I am being, when I come on camera, I am being myself, but obviously it's like it's a version of myself. So there's another version that like before I'm filming, I'm really anxious about filming, or I just am really down for like a few days at a time. Yeah, it feels a bit like I'm leading this sort of double life in a way. And it's hard because I want my channel to be somewhere nice for people to come. I really want it to be a bit of escapism. So I don't always want to be moaning and things like that. So that's why I just try and keep it more upbeat. And I don't know, I really try not to like talk too much about how down I'm feeling and things like that. It just gets a bit too much sometimes when you're like trying to hide that to such an extent. Basically in this video, I think I'm going to try and sort of explain what it is about doing this and, you know, doing YouTube, and maybe about life and things that's got me to this point where I have been recently. And I'm really not used to doing this type of video. So the other week when I was in such a low sort of place, I found some of Samantha Ravindal's videos. I really hope I'm saying her name right. And I absolutely love her. And because I found videos of hers where she was talking about her mental health and about how it was like tied into, you know, being on YouTube. It was the first time that I'd sort of seen someone on YouTube link those two, because that's what I'd been feeling for ages. So it was the first time that I'd seen someone else actually talk about it and be open and honest about it. And it really gave me the courage to film this video. So I want to say a big thank you to her. It was nice to see that her audience accepted that and didn't. But the thing is, I'm scared of doing this video and everyone's like, okay, well, I don't want to watch you anymore then. So I'm just trying to sort of make a bit of a connection again and just, yeah, like explain what's been going on. Okay, I put an oil spray in my hair as a finishing spray and it's just made it look greasy, and now I'm pissed. So after that long, very rambly intro that probably made no sense. Before having Indy, I was sort of, for some reason, I feel like I wasn't sort of maybe as sensitive to things. I don't even know. I don't know what sort of switched or changed. But yeah, after having Indy, I've always been very aware of like how much I put her out there, how much I put her on my channel and on my Instagram. And obviously as a mum, I'm naturally very, very protective of her. The thought of receiving like really nasty comments about her, my daughter, I hated. She's so like precious, and just putting her out there for like, there can be such negativity on here. Oh, this is so hard. Like, I know that there's so many amazing, like, I just want to say, I know there's so many amazing people on YouTube, and I thank all of you that have ever been lovely to me. Most of you are, that's the thing. Like, most people are lovely. I just had a really strong feeling about protecting her, which felt quite natural. And then I think after a while of being like, do you know what, I don't have to put her out there, and that's okay. And I think that sort of then bled over into myself, which is where I was going with that. So I think I began feeling a bit like, well then why am I, like, when I put myself out there, I also get really hurt by certain things. And it almost feels a bit like it's like a destructive place to put myself, you know? Being vulnerable on here and then having such abuse hurled at you is is really hurtful when it happens. So I think because I'd been protective with Indy, I then sort of wanted to protect myself in a way, because I was like, well, why aren't I worth protecting as well? So I think I really started trying to just figure out what content I could put out there that wasn't gonna cause me hurt and harm all the time, and sadness and things like that, which is more things like daily vlogs, more things like really deep stories about myself. In things like vlogs, I've just found it difficult to, I've just become quite protective, and that does not work well when you're an influencer and a content creator and your whole job is supposed to be putting yourself out there and being vulnerable. So obviously, you know, I started with beauty, I've gone into fashion, I've shown lifestyle things, home stuff, and after having a child, again, it's funny how it all is so sort of linked, but I think it really, for me, I feel like a lot of the time it just broadens your perspective on life and what's important in life. And for a while I became really like disengaged with everything really superficial, making a big deal out of things that aren't, to me, like, were not a big deal at that time. Which is funny, it really is such a phase, because now I really love a lot of those things again. And then I was like, well, what the hell am I gonna create? Like, I can't suddenly just make my whole channel about nothing. Like, I can't just show nothing. So yeah, I just went through a time of just being really stuck with what to create. You know, at that point, it was also the time where when you become a mum, or I did anyway, you sort of lose your identity a bit, and then you slowly regain it, or you sort of regain it with an added, you know, with additions. So I think I was in that time of sort of like not really knowing like who I was, like what mattered to me, or like what the hierarchy of those things were. But at the same time, I sort of needed to be weekly making content, you know, and so I didn't really have a time to reassess everything. I just had to keep like making things. So I think where my mental health starts tying into all of this is then I'd also sort of, for some reason, built up this anxiety. Yeah, just filming, I just have become, it depends on the video, not in fashion videos, but I think in more sit down ones like this, I for some reason like get really anxious over starting the video, and honestly, as so many things are sort of tied together. So another thing is cancel culture. You can't say anything these days, and I think that just really added to my anxiety. And I'm just someone who, like, I'm such a free spirit, like I just love to be free, and obviously I'm not here trying to offend anyone, but it's like these days you can try your hardest not to offend someone, and someone's still offended. So it's just really made me scared to be my proper self. And So it looks like I've got a second nose, doesn't it? Like, just a small little second nose. I'm so conscious of this video being a moaning video. Like, this is not moaning. Like, there are a lot of things I really like about YouTube. This is the thing. I've been so scared to film this because I don't want people to think I'm just moaning about, like, that I get to sit in my room and film videos and, like, what a hard life. And I feel like I've spoken about it before, but another thing that's sort of made me feel quite like confused and frustrated about being on YouTube is that it can be a hard place to actually evolve on, because people obviously find you as a certain version of yourself and then a lot of the time sort of expect you to always be that version of yourself. And I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm not 19 anymore. I'm not 2013 Sammi. Like, I get so many comments who are like, this reminds me of 2014, 2013 Sammi. Like, I loved your hair then. I wish you would go back to being like you're, you know, like you were in 2013. And it's just really odd, like, having comments like that, because imagine if you're just with family and friends and they were like, yeah, I really liked how you were 9 years ago. You would just be like, what? Because last year I was asked if I would come into a school and talk about like advice on being a YouTuber, and to like preteens. I'm not sure actually the exact ages, but they'd be quite, like, compared to me, they'd be quite young and really impressionable. And my gut feeling was no, no. There's a clip from a TV show that I'm watching that is of like a woman telling kids not to go into her job, and I was like, oh my God, that is me. That is what I want to tell to kids. It was like, no, 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 no. Listen, there's amazing things about being a YouTuber, and you get to spread messages like feminism, climate change, sexism, like anything that is your forte that you want to talk about and spread the message of. That's what I love about YouTube, just is the positivity. But thinking of kids going into it with the level of negativity that is possible on here that I know of, and the amount of the mental toll that it can take. So I'm not saying for everyone it takes this. Like, you have to be resilient, and I have been resilient a lot of my life to it. If you're going through a patch where you're not as resilient, it's that makes me not wanna, like, that in itself makes me not want to recommend it to kids to get into. And that might, I don't know, like, some people might hate me for saying that, but when I realised that, and I was like, okay, if this is something I'm not recommending people to go into, why am I doing it? Yeah, I thought about it quite a lot for a while. I mean, overall, YouTube is really for, like, having fun with, and for obviously being creative with. So I think I just had got to a point where I was taking it so seriously, and I have been taking it quite seriously. Like, obviously it's a good thing to take it seriously, but I think I've sort of forgotten why people come to YouTube. Most of the time it's to, like, just relate to someone, just to, like, watch a normal day of them and just, like, have a laugh, really. I wouldn't wholly not recommend it to people, but it's not, I mean, for one, it's not the first thing that I'd recommend kids to get into. And secondly, if you are going to get into it, just make sure you're doing something that you love. This obviously is like cliche, but make sure you're doing something that you love. On top of all that other stuff, then over the last year or so, it's then been to views and like feedback and mainly views and comparison and things like that. And so that's and it's so funny because for ages that did not affect me, and it's something that I saw Samantha say as well, is like, views don't matter when you're doing well. So basically, yeah, I got stuck in this sort of vicious cycle of putting content that I thought, like, that I thought you guys would like out there, but then, if it doesn't do well, then I take it, it's really hard not to take it personally, because all you're putting out there is you. Like, it's my style, it's my personality, my life. So yeah, so I put a lot of my value into my YouTube world. And recently I've really had to sort of detach and just be like, you have another life, like, and that's the life that matters. I've always been really interested in, like, philosophy and, like, the meaning of life and what our purpose is, or if we even have one at all, and things like that. So it made me think of, I don't know if anyone's seen the Jim Carrey, I think it's like a documentary, Jim and Andy, where he said that when he came out of the Andy role, he was like, well, who am I? That's what it sort of felt like a bit. So I just became really lost. I had a bit of like an existential, a proper, because I'd had like mini ones before, but a proper existential crisis. Oh, another thing, yeah, I wanted to say at the beginning, what really frustrates me is when people assume it's like to do with my relationship, because that is really not. No relationship is perfect. We're not perfect, but that's why, like, I only put tiny bits of our relationship out there, and I think it's made me feel like if I'm just putting bits out of that and I'm getting people coming from nowhere, like assuming things about my relationship, then I'm like, well, I don't want to put any other bits out about me then. Yeah, and then I've also had other things going on with other areas of my life, not relationship, and not YouTube. So yeah, there is things and people that I'm not gonna talk about on YouTube because it's not fair, and I don't want to. So over the last few months I have been seeing a therapist, so I have been getting professional help too. I hope people don't think I'm just trying to deal with this all on my own. For me, I feel like it's more of a sort of existential and situational sort of depression. It's funny because I just never dealt with depression before, and I feel like it's the worst thing that I'd been through, and I don't think I'm totally out of it either, but I'm not where I was a few weeks ago. So basically this is why I'm sometimes like, you know, have gaps on my channel. It's why I find it difficult to keep up with vlogging, because a lot of the time I'll have these really difficult days, or I just feel really low and I just don't have it in me to turn the camera on and be like, hi, like, because I can't just be really like mopey and miserable when you're vlogging. It's not that I haven't wanted to be consistent, and not that I haven't wanted to be sharing my life with you guys, because I feel like this is why I wanted to film this, because I feel like a lot of you think that I'm just like, I just don't want to share any. It's like I don't want to share anything, but it's like I do. I think I just need to stop being so scared of negativity, because if there's positivity, there's negativity, and you just have to deal with them. You don't have to deal with being trolled and being bullied. Like, I'll just block and delete. But I think it just, basically what I'm trying to say is, over 10 years it's just really taken its toll. Like, there's only so much that one person can take. There is so much content that I really enjoy making and that I'm excited to make on YouTube, and I just want to carry on doing that, really. And I'm just going to push myself and do those different types of videos, even though they might not do that well. And it's like, if I stop making YouTube videos, or if I stop being myself and putting myself out there, then the people that are so supportive of me, you know, you guys that watch my channel and support me, then you lose out, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want the negativity, the negative side of the world to win. I feel like I've just been trying to protect myself for so long. Okay, I've been going on for ages, and I don't even know if I've sort of said what I meant to say, and I'm really scared of putting this video up because, yeah. But that's how I've been feeling. So, oh, I thought I'd mention too, obviously I went on a solo trip recently too, so that was that. After, like, when I was in such a low place, I was trying to think about things that I did want to, what does make me happy, if anything, and I've always known that traveling makes me happy. It's one of the things. So finally booked a trip and went away and tried to feel like passionate about something, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. So, and also it's just nice because it obviously is different content for my channel, so I think it's just a case of me like doing different things. This is also tricky when you have social anxiety. There's so many things that I want to do, so many ideas that I have, but they involve like interviewing other people or filming with other people, and I struggle with it, and it's really frustrating, and it's something that I want to work more on with, you know, in therapy. But yeah, that's all my struggles with being a YouTuber. But maybe some other YouTubers can relate to this too. And I'm still going, I'm still gonna put content out and just be more fully myself. And I feel like I always say that, but I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you for watching, and thank you for accepting me being vulnerable.